let them show in 5 years one development which has been brought by this government.
पारसेकर, पारेकर, धौलीकर, इन सब लोगों ने मिलकर लूट लिया गोवा को. कांग्रेस ने, बीजेपी ने, सब लोगों ने.
All the 6 casinos which are floating in Mando Beach is the gift of Congress government.
Hello and a warm welcome to our election special coming to you from Goa. We are at the beautiful Miramar beach at the mouth of the Mandovi River. The election bugle has been sounded, the political temperatures are rising. But how is election 2017 in Goa a differentiating election from the ones which have been held earlier? How are the odds stacked up against each of the political stakeholders? Over the next 30 minutes, we are going to discuss all this with our eminent panelists who've just joined us. Raju Nayak, he is the editor for Lokmat. Next to him is chairman of Indian Institute of Architects, Goa chapter, Mangesh Prabhugaonkar. And next to him is Mahesh Nayak. He belongs to the business community, represents of Goa. Welcome to all of you here on this special program. So I'd like to begin with you, Mr. Nayak. Can we really say that 2017 elections in Goa is going to be a watershed election?
See, we have been discussing this for quite a long time. And what I think, there were traditional players in Goa earlier. Congress is there for many years. We have seen BJP, and now Aam Aadmi Party has entered. And also, there is a breakaway group from the RSS, which were traditional supporters of BJP. And we were thinking till recently that this Aam Aadmi Party and the breakaway group of RSS, which is called Goa Suraksha Manch, they're going to play a very important role. And let's see whether they can really do it, because for last 8 days we have been seeing this BJP is again, because of thanks to Manohar Parrikar doing a lot of efforts, to regain.
No, but is it not true that it's for the first time since the BJP government has come to power, we have seen that there is some kind of a rebellion within the camps of the ideological parent?
Two types of rebellion BJP is facing in Goa. One is directly from the RSS ranks, the total whole RSS group has moved away from BJP, and they are accusing Mr. Parrikar and as well as the BJP that BJP is compromising on the basic issues of which BJP was standing, like language. They have compromised it. They are supporting, the English language because of the pressure from the Catholic Church. And the second thing is they have started admitting everybody, including from the Congress, there are allegations on these guys because they want winning candidates, So BJP is very, very desperate. So there are rebellions from the ranks as well as from the RSS group.
Okay, so it's going to be a litmus test for the BJP. Yeah. Let me come to Mr. Mahesh Nayak. So what, according to you, really are the basic issues in this election which neither the Congress nor the BJP really have been able to deal with?
The basic issue, when Aam Aadmi Party first time came to Goa, everyone in Goa was hopeful that Aam Aadmi Party will focus on better administration and better infrastructural development in Goa with a focus on the common man as the lowest point, which I personally feel that BJP and Congress might not have paid that much attention in the years.
So are you trying to hint that probably because of this reason Aam Aadmi could give a credible option for the people?
No, actually, let me finish. This was the expectation from the Aam Aadmi Party, but then Aam Aadmi Party for last 2 months has changed the focus from the administration and People's Party to like any other party just wanting to come to power. And after coming to power, they are promising the moon like any other party.
So Aam Aadmi is not an Aam Aadmi Party, is not an Aam Aadmi Party, but a Khas Aadmi Party.
It has become a Me Too party, if you ask me, like BJP and Congress. So now the field is level playing field.
Okay.
The speciality or the exception which Aam Aadmi Party had, according to me, they have lost that advantage because they are counting seats, they are counting winnability. And they are talking of big issues, like mining we will dry out or casinos will dry out, which I think the voters at large are really not concerned about. The voters are concerned about the employment generation, clean environment and better administration and better life.
So basically, the politicians and the political parties are talking about superficial issues and not the issues which are related to the common man in Goa. I'll come to you, Mr. Mangesh. Basically, the 2017 elections, not only in Goa but in other states as well, is going to be seen as some kind of a referendum on Modi government's demonetization decision also. And when I say demonetization, Goa is a tourist place. where a lot of activities are happening, as he just mentioned. There's a casino culture, there's mining, all that contributed largely to the GDP. Do you think that somehow people are going to vote on the basis of this decision, which has been largely from the center?
See, if you focus on Goa in particular,
Right.
we have something like more than 450 years of tremendous history, pre-liberation and post-liberation also.
Right, right.
And Goa has got a global branding image, and with which, last 50, 60 years of current governance has taken a lot of brownie points, and we have come to an identity. Goa is not like any other place in India or world where, you can just copy any kind of plans and say, okay, now start development here. Goa has been gifted with rich heritage, rich history, rich cultures, rich socio-cultural backgrounds.
Right.
But in this current scenario, if you see, whether it is a current Goa regional plan which is happening, or whether it is urban area based Goa outline developed plans are concerned, or smart city mission concepts are concerned, it is very important for whoever comes as a policy maker in this current state that please understand what Goa needs.
Okay.
Restoration and understanding of Goa's identity which has been there is very, very important. Goa has got the backwaters, Goa has got the water ages, coastal belts along the seafront.
Right.
It has got the historical archaeological site, and it has got at the foothills, we have the Western Ghats which are so rich. But in the name of urbanization, in the name of going forward, we're doing something like, this so-called developments in the hinterlands,
Right.
Unorganized developments in tourism sector,
Right.
via media for mining, which is collapsed now. What next? So it's very important whoever comes in power to understand the ground realities. Okay, unless you understand these ground realities or go to people and take community participations on the plans, it's going to be very, very difficult for that resentment to be stopped in a place like Goa.
You made an important point, sir. I'd like to come to you, Mr. Naik, on this. Basically, what he's saying is that the policy makers are totally at variance with what the needs of the state are. What happens? Like every 5 years, leaders are coming in, they are promising moons to the people, but when it comes to delivery, the things are not happening. So are the politicians not sensitive towards it, or they are just paying a lip service to the cause of the state? What is it?
I will tell you, everybody knows the issues of Goa. They have surveyed it. They know the political compulsions. I will tell you, everybody is compromised in Goa.
Okay.
We have big lobbies like mining. We have big lobbies of tourism. And they are controlling the full, the political space of Goa. See, the BJP, when they came to power in 2012, they have assured that mining scams will be investigated and everybody will be sent to jail. Nothing has happened. Tourism is the same. The tourism industry in Goa has, messed up the coastline of Goa. Everything is illegal here. Nobody is ready to take action because they say that a lot of dependents, mining dependents, we have lakhs of mining dependents, we have lakhs of tourism. Then these people are, controlling the BJP came to power in 2012 saying that everything is going to be investigated. Nothing happened only because the mining lobby in Goa is very, very strong.
But tell me, there is a total mafia culture. You have a casino mafia, you have a mining mafia.
Exactly.
How is this nexus going to be broken between the mafias and between the politicians? You are in the heart of it. You are basically from the architect association. You are basically seeing how the building plan, the development plan is being done. Who is really going to break the nexus?
I feel community participation in all the master plans, if it's given a priority, it will make a huge difference for state of Goa. Whether it is coastal area based, fishing industry, which has been there for years, or it is a tourism master plan kind of activity which is going on, or you go towards mining based activity. Now with the second generation or third generation not wanting to take my ancestral occupation, whether it is a farmer's son or some fisherman's son, they don't want to continue because there are no incentives. So what are those incentives of ground reality? Unless you incorporate all of those kind of things and give incentives, people will look into this kind of issues, like they'll go for casinos, they'll go for any other businesses where illegal money can come overnight, where you can't force people also not to take up those things.
Casino again is a very big issue, Mr. Naik. Parties like when Aam Aadmi Party, it's basically considered as an outsider for the Goans. And when they come and they say that we are going to be totally anti-casino, are the Goans really going to take them? I mean, are they going to really believe them, believe Arvind Kejriwal when he says that I am totally anti-casino? What is your take on that?
As I said, this is a very superficial issue because if you really go to the people and ask them, there may be many more people who will be supporting casino as an industry for generating employment or generating revenue rather than superficial people who oppose it for various reasons.
Okay.
Any trade or any industry will have its negative points. But the government job is to regulate it properly with rules and regulation and do a proper thing, because tourism is the bread and butter of Goa, after mining especially so. So people, more and more people are coming to Goa to with casinos. After the Nepal fiasco, I think casinos have developed in Goa.
Right.
So what is the issue with casinos is it should not create any law order problem, it should not create any garbage problem, and it has to be controlled. For example, it has been talked about that we should have a gaming commissioner. I heard the word from the government first time, what is a gaming commissioner? So far there is nothing called gaming commissioner.
Okay.
So I think this mafia and all that are very big words. There are nothing is existent. It is just a lethargy, and the priorities of the political class, as Mr. Raju Naik rightly said, are totally different. Everyone is aware, what you and me know, the political masters already know, but there is no urgency on their part to execute this thing because there is no enough pressure from the people.
Right.
There has to be people oriented thing. Get back to the people, see the priorities, set term, long term goals, short term goals. Nothing is happening. The priority is only elections, get elections, and again the
And
same
move
thing
out after
starts.
5 years. Exactly. But the point is that the rules are there on the books. Enforcement is not happening, and probably there is some kind of a deliberate lethargy, as what Mr. Naik was pointing out. That is there. But I would like to draw your attention to another very serious issue, and that is a medium of instruction issue, where the political class, it seems, is divided between the church and the rest of the population about the grants given to the schools, and how Konkani and Marathi should be given a priority. How big is this issue really in this election?
I will tell you, this is a political issue. People are concerned about the local languages, but still every parent wants to send their children to English medium schools. Okay. So this is a issue, a issue in the hearts of the people. See, they want Marathi and Konkani to prosper, but nobody is doing anything for these languages. These languages are dying, in fact. Okay. And the other part is the majority of the schools in Goa, they have started English. Every parents want to send their children to English school, and I think future is for English. Okay. As if you ask any parent. Unfortunately, government is not doing anything for the education part as such. Government has not done anything to raise the standards of the education in Goa. Education is a very poor thing. In the government priority list also, the education is not given
I
any
basically
importance.
have heard only politicians talking about either giving the grants or withdrawing the grants.
Exactly. And I'll tell you, the church institutions which run the schools are of very, very bad. They don't have a good standard. Right. As well as the private schools in Goa, they don't have a good standard as compared to other parts of India. We have education as the last priority for all the political parties in Goa. They are virtually not interested. Actually, your question was right. I think all the political parties have failed Goa. I think it is now the time, this election 2017, people should see the good candidates, not the political parties.
Okay, so if you're saying that all the political parties have failed Goa, Mr. Nayak, if I come to you, what is the basis on which an intelligent Goan voter can go and vote on 4th of February?
As Mr. Raju Naik has said, first priority will be to the candidate. His past history, many of them are repeated by the political parties. And secondly, they should work for a stable government, because whatever said and done, if there is again a mixture of independents and political parties, the pressure lobbies from these sideliners are too much for a government to perform. And that becomes a good excuse for every government to say, if you are given... Yeah.
I'll come to you, sir. Yeah, I'm coming to you on that. Exactly.
I'll ask him a question.
Okay,
See,
okay.
We have seen a stable government like BJP.
Right.
People have given them 21 MLAs, plus another 7 MLAs were supporting them. This was the biggest, this stability I think we have not seen for the last 50 years. But still they have not performed. So I think instability is good for Goa. At least there will be a public pressure.
So that's also another view. You're saying instability is good for Goa. I'll come to you, sir. There are a lot of smaller parties like Maharashtravadi Gomantak Party. Like Mr. Dhavalikar was saying, that all these smaller parties, they have basically sustained and thrived on the backs of the national parties. But now it's high time that we should take our pound of flesh. How would you really read their statement, and how credible will they sound before the voters when they go?
No, I may not get into direct politics, but I will tell you, whichever party comes in, they have to look at Goa in totality. Okay. unless holistic attitude is done for all the policies or all the sectors which are required for governance and the stability, I don't think there
But
could
what
be an
is your
issue.
assessment? Are
My-
these smaller parties not able to give a holistic assessment of Goa because they are saying they're very close to the people, they're very close to the Goans, much closer than what BJP and Congress sound
I'll give you an example of Goa with reference to housing and real estate industry.
Okay, go ahead.
Current survey tells you that 62% of the houses which are in Goa are locked for 8 to 10 months of the time.
Okay.
And only 30% or 35% of the houses are for people who are here from Goa.
Right.
But this 62% are mainly, are either second homes from somebody who's staying somewhere else in the world or other parts of India, or somebody who's maybe, just coming once in a while to spend a new year.
Right.
Or on the other side, he's just investing it for the sake of, passing some surplus funds into Goa. But on the other side is 32% which is there,
Right.
which is actually
So this is
from
the point
Goa,
you're making, yeah.
is trying to struggle, and they're not buying, able to buy their own affordable house.
Absolutely.
On the other side, you have this pending Goa housing policy, which is pending for last, I think, more than 30 years. Like through mediums like Goa Housing Board or HUDCO, SIDCO, all they are doing policies all
In
over
fact,
India.
you made a
He
very
has to understand that, you look after this 32% also. Why Goan should go outside in some village and buy a house because you can't afford in the central areas? Please understand those kind of realities. I'm not saying don't let somebody else come and buy a house in Goa. Because right now a Goan cannot buy a house in current scenario of urban areas. So please understand, let somebody look at, Goa in totality. You categorize. So-and-so housing has to be given for son of the soil who's here. I'm
Yeah,
sure
I'll go
with
back
this
to
kind of parameters.
I'll go back to this point of the son of the soil which you mentioned. That takes us to the larger question about the identity of Goa. Who an actual Goan is and what happens to the identity of Goa. People have been doing the fact that the actual Goan is getting nothing and it's only the outsiders who are coming and reaping the benefits. Mr. Naik?
I'll tell you, in 1967, the first opinion poll of India was taken in Goa.
Right.
Whether to merge Goa into Maharashtra or not. We have voted against it and we kept our identity. Identity is what? Identity is our language. Identity is our culture, how we dress, how we eat, how is our, music to folk art. But we have lost everything because what Mr. Prabhugamkar said is correct. Lot of floods of outsiders are coming to Goa. I, as a Goan, I can't afford to buy a house in Panjim because the housing rate it starts from 1 crore to 2 crores, and the people who are staying in Delhi or Bombay can afford to have a second house in Goa. So we were opposing, as a journalist, I opposed a ODP, Outer Development Plan for Panjim, which has, they have given permission for skyscrapers.
Right.
Unfortunately, all these buildings which are going to come in Panjim, they are going to destroy the city because this is the most ancient historical city of Goa. They are going to destroy it. And secondly, the housing which they are going to create is not going to, give place for us who are actually Goans. So we don't have a clear-cut policy for the people who are staying here. The Goans as such, they have been destroyed, they have been thrown out of the cities or thrown out of the villages also. Right. So the regional plan which was fought by everybody, right from the Hindu temples to Catholic Church, right, they were opposing this regional plan, and they were asking for a beautiful, sustainable development plan for Goa. Right. That has not happened. So we are frustrated.
Right. But Mr. Naik, I'll come to you on this. When you talk about the larger development of Goa, now parties like BJP say that they are only a Vikas party. They are a party which only talks about development. But if I were to ask you to rate development in Goa over the last 10 or 15 years on a scale of 10, how would you really say? Actually, is Goa as a state really developing when it comes to roads, when it comes to cleanliness, when it comes to the drainage system, when it comes to the condition of the tourism industry? How much would you give it on a scale of 10?
See, if you say just development, I will give more marks. But the questions which you asked, like garbage management, administration, communication, infrastructure, I will say it much below 10. Because no government or no political party equates development actually with the actual happiness index of the
but
people.
But you say that you're happy with the pace of development, right?
No, if you call development on paper, like for example, constructing a road.
Okay.
If you call it a development, yes, constructing a bridge, there is a development. But whether it was needed in the first place, whether it was the priority, or whether housing, garbage, other things, and putting the proper policy and law and order maintenance, all these things are the proper priority. Development you can do even in an isolated island where you have no population. So finally, development is for the population. If the population is not concerned with that development or not using that infrastructure or not happy with that, there is no need of that development. For example, you are talking of Mopa Airport.
Right.
They have been telling us that Mopa, now who is this Mopa Airport is required for? For the tourists. Are we having less tourists? No, we are having sufficient tourists. The surveys, the hotel industry says that we want more rooms for the coming tourists. There is no infrastructure and people are going for an airport to invite more tourists when the basic infrastructure for the tourism is not development. So if you think of the priority, I will give very less
So
marks
basically,
to
you
the
are hinting at the
development.
fact that somewhere the policymakers and the politicians have missed the woods for the trees. Now I'll come to the question of a party like BJP and Congress, the way they are pitted against each other. Many people are saying that Aam Aadmi Party will probably lose its deposits. They are just trying. It's a very symbolic fight for them. But when it actually comes to the house of BJP and Congress, each has its own deficiency, each has its own shortcomings. But in this whole scenario, we see Congress very quiet this time. Do you also feel so?
I think Congress has compromised. In Goa, the critics say Congress has become the B party of BJP. Most of these leaders in Goa have compromised. We have seen there were 9 MLAs last in the
But
2000.
why do you say that it's a B party of...
Because we have seen, see, this time there was an anti-incumbency factor against the BJP.
Right.
After the demonetization, people were against the party. Then they have admitted some corrupt politicians from Congress into BJP. And as a result, what has happened is people were very furious because BJP was always claiming to be a party of a difference. Now it has become another Congress. And after the elections, Congress, which was very ready to take the power from BJP because people were against BJP. And now we have seen that Congress is really not in the fight. They have compromised with most of the seats.
So,
yeah.
the scenario which you see so far, you say that there is no anti-incumbency as such against BJP, at least at the moment.
There is anti-incumbency against the government, but there is no alternative.
Okay.
Congress have failed after the 2012 elections, and now when the people were ready to give them the power, they have compromised on most of the seats, and their candidates are also, not as per mark. The people are, frustrated. The general sentiment was against the BJP, but the people are frustrated and they have not decided whom to vote. I think it's going to be hung assembly and the largest party is going to be BJP.
Okay, hung assembly. What is your hunch, sir? Yes. What is your hunch?
I may not choose on the final results right now, but representing architects community who do development in Goa, I would say we make lovely master plans. But unless my master plans are understood by these policy makers, administrators, or the people who govern the state, it's going to be very,
But
very
your
difficult.
master plan, sir, will be made only when the government is formed. Who is going to form the government?
That is what I'm saying. I want these guys to understand the kind of things we do and then give me an appropriate forum to perform in Goa for identity and socio-cultural aspect of Goa.
Okay, I think if the politicians are going to watch the program, they will hear what you have said. Mr. Naik, what's your hunch? What's going to be 11th of March for Goa going to be like?
Mostly BJP is going to be the single largest party, very close to the majority, and with some allies they are going to form the next government. That is what the things look today, because Congress has a totally lackluster leadership both at the local level as well as the central.
Okay. Okay, so basically it's a high decibel campaign which is on in Goa. Parties have been talking about the issues, the political battles which are on in the state. But the real issue is how to protect the identity of Goa. That is the million-dollar question. And if the parties can do that, that addresses the larger sentiment of Goa and its people. Thanks to all my guests, Mr. Raju Naik, Mahesh Naik and Mr. Bandravkar. Thanks for making a lovely discussion by this beach side. Thanks for watching and goodbye.
Let them show in 5 years one development which has been brought by this government.
पारसेकर, पारेकर, धौलीकर, इन सब लोगों ने मिलकर लूट लिया गोवा को. कांग्रेस ने, बीजेपी ने, सब लोगों ने.
All the 6 casinos which are floating in Mandovis is the gift of Congress government.